وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد. Are you allowed to pay to have a dog trained for service? Can you buy a side dog, a hearing dog, relief dog, rescue dogs? Are you allowed to pay for that, for these dogs? Why are you quiet, Jama'ah? Yes or no? What's the answer? Is it? Oh, wow. Okay, let's see what the Prophet ﷺ says over here. You'll be surprised, but we'll see, inshallah. In this hadith, hadith 1673, in Riyadh al-Salihin, Kitab al-Umur Manhiya Anha, the book of prohibited actions, قال إمام النووي رحمه الله تعالى وعن أبي مسعود البدري رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن ثمن الكلب ومهر البغي وحلوان الكاهن متفق عليه. In this hadith, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prohibited the utilization of price of a dog, the earning of an adulteress, and the money given to a soothsayer. Bukhari and Muslim. So what does that mean, Jama'ah? Can you pay for a dog? That's the question. You see, the hadith is clear. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, you can't have thaman, compensation for a dog. So the word thaman, and that's what the ulama of the hadith, they look into it differently. So the word thaman doesn't mean price, doesn't mean compensation. And if you say price or compensation, in this case, means there is an actual sale and trade. You buy and you sell. But if you say, no, it's not, it's just maybe, adoption. And then in this case, someone gives you something in place of that animal that you get, for instance. So in this case, what's the hukum on this? So the ulama, they have different opinion. Number one, for the Shafi'is and the Hanbalis, based on this hadith, they said, absolutely not. You're not allowed to pay for dogs. Okay, what kind of dogs we're talking about? Any dog. Whether you're using it as a pet, guard dog, farming, again, service dog, sight or hearing, you can't pay for these animals because the hadith is very clear. So they're very clear about this because of the hadith saying you could not. But then we have the Hanafi school. In the Hanafi school, they say, no, if the dog has the value, then we are actually paying for the value, not for the animal itself. So they separate between the animal and the value that comes from that animal. So if you're using an animal just as a pet, then yeah, they say you shouldn't be doing that because you're not supposed to have it in the first place. But if you're having this animal right now and you're utilizing this animal for service, again, hearing dog, or side dog, or relief dog, rescue dog, whatever that is, or even actually guard dog. And this animal is trained. So according to the first opinion, the Shafi and the Hanbali, they say trained, non-trained doesn't really matter. The hadith is clear, you cannot take compensation, you cannot pay for it. So where am I going to get my trained dog from? You have to get it basically for free. Easy said than done. Especially in times like ours. The Hanafi, they say no. If it's trained for whatever service that you're looking for, if that service is halal service, then it's okay to pay for that training. It's okay to pay for a guarding dog or again relief, rescue, whatever that is. So that's their opinion. The Malikis, they look into it different ways. So they say it depends. Depends on what kind of compensation for what kind of service that the dog is going to be doing. So they allow what was used in the hadith, such as farming and guarding dogs, and they might say no for other services. So it depends. But as you can see, the ulama, they're split on the understanding of this hadith. People have different opinions, obviously. On my personal opinion, actually, I go with the Hanafis on this opinion, that it depends on the service that is utilized for this dog. So we're paying for the service, for the training. And therefore, so you can have that dog actually served in the right way. Of course, why is the prohibition? Some they say because it's an animal, it's a dog, and therefore there's the possibility of najasa. Some they associate that with the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that the angels will not enter the house if the dog is present over there. So I have different actual understanding of why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited on keeping or taking that compensation for the dog. Allahu a'lam. So that means now, for you as a Muslim, are you okay to become a dog breeder? Should you open a business? If you have a farm, not in the backyard. You have a farm, and there in the farm you bring some of these, very good, mashallah, well kept dogs and people, there's high demand on these dogs for the service they provide. Are you allowed to breed these animals and start selling them? I would say stay away from it. You can buy it for the service that you're looking for, but don't be the person who actually, utilize that. And I know that in the Muslim community, we're very sensitive when it comes to dogs. We think dogs like devils, khalas, don't touch it, don't come near it, don't let your kid, play with it or pet it. Jama'ah, it's easier than this. It's okay to pet a dog. It's okay to play with the dog. But then, if it touches the najasa, then just wash your hands and that's it, we're done. Don't bring it home with you. Let's play with it and let's keep it out there. So, don't be oversensitive. But still, at the same time, we need also to keep, the ibadah valid for us. It says najasa, stay away from it, and so on. The second part of the hadith, the Prophet says, وَمَهْرُ الْبَغِي. Of course, he said, مَهْرُ الْبَغِي, which means that the mahar that is paid to an adulteress. The word used mahar, which is something that we only use, of course, when people get married. But if someone is going to be paying for astaghfirullah, haram, and illicit relationship, how could we call this mahar? The Prophet said, call it mahar just as, I would say, like a people kind of comparing it to marriage. So he says, never, they're not the same. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It is not the same because that earning is haram and that price you pay is haram. And the last one was hulwan al-kahin, the gift or the price that people pay for soothsayers or fortune tellers and so on. We've been talking about this for so long. I guess it's understood that you cannot go to anybody. You can't even go to begin with. Going there to take their service and pay them for telling you a lie or astaghfirullah, something that's kufr or shirk, that's even disastrous. So stay away from it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you. Ya Rabbil Alameen. Wallahu alam. Any questions, Jama'ah? Yes. So if a dog licks your pants, you have to change the whole thing? Well, if you know where the dog licked you, you can just wash that part and you're done. You should be fine, inshallah ta'ala. And you don't have to wash it 7 times, by the way. Yeah. The only thing you wash 7 times is utensils. If the dog licked utensils or drank from an utensil, for example, a cup or a plate, or let's say licked a spoon, that's the thing that you wash 7 times, one of them with dirt or with specific, let's say, cleaning agents. Wallahu a'lam. Nah. Yes?
Is there a more general hadith that prohibits the purchasing of animals in a more broader sense, including cats? I've heard of
It's coming. Yeah, that's going to be coming later. Thaman as-Sinawr. This is the price for the cat as well too. Nah. Yes?
City of Dallas recently adopted the Maliki and Hanbali opinion.
MashaAllah.
Prohibited all sales of dogs.
Oh, really? So the city of Dallas, then before the
No sales of dogs. All
that's the Shafi'i and Hanbali's opinion. The Shafi'i and the Hanbali, so the Dallas people, they became Shafi'is, mashallah. That's a win for the Shafi'i against the Hanafis here. And they said according to the city of Dallas now, the ordinance is no sales of dogs anymore. No. But why? Can I ask why?
Because of the puppy mills, backyard breeding, no vaccination.
I see. Because people basically start kind of abusing that. They breed in their backyards.
On the side of the shoulder, like they sell.
Became a black market for puppies and all that stuff. Allah understand.
But one question I have to check is, I've heard there's similar hadiths about hajjim as well, right?
Hajjam is coming later. That has a different chapter. Al-Hijama also the same, but it's different, inshallah. Sister, do you have the microphone? If you have any question, ask your questions, inshallah. Yes, go ahead.
We can buy a dog, but we cannot sell it, right?
Say it again.
We can buy a dog, but we cannot sell it.
So you can buy the dog. That's the thing. You can buy the dog. Now, can I sell it? No. Selling it basically because it's your dog. You want to get rid of it. Are you allowed to sell it for the same service? Yes, you can. But not to be a businessman to do that. Wallahu a'lam. Nah. Yes. What about a cat? We'll talk about the cat some other session because we have another hadith coming about cats, inshallah ta'ala. Nah. About what? Fish? Oh, come on. I'm going to go with Animal Kingdom right now? Fish is fine as well. It's okay. Khair, inshallah. All right. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.